Hello, fellow Star Wars fans. My name is Starrapter. Welcome to the channel. As always, it is time to talk about some Star Wars comics. We have just 3 to talk about today. 1 from Dark Horse, 2 from Marvel. Starting off with Dark Horse for the long-delayed Star Wars Hyperspace Stories issue number 5, written by Amanda Debert with artwork by Riccardo Facchini. This one is called The Betrayal, as you see on the cover here. Asajj Ventress, Obi-Wan, Anakin facing off. This is pretty cool because I always forget how much I enjoy Hyperspace Stories. Even though Dark Horse is the all-ages imprint for the Star Wars comics, these stories have, to me, dug a little bit deeper into the characters than the IDW Star Wars Adventures comics have. And with Asajj Ventress, we get a story that really fleshes out her character while also digging into the Hyperspace Stories larger plotline as a whole. So we get to see her working with Count Dooku in the early years of the Clone Wars. You could tell by the Phase 1 Close Trooper helmets. There you go. So we get to see how her training is going. He's sending her off on a mission. She's failing. He's buzzing her with lightning, and right away you see already that she's annoyed by that. Obviously, who wouldn't be? But she goes on this mission, confronts Anakin, confronts Obi-Wan, finds the information that she needs to get, which is actually the same teddy bear that has been the through line through all these comic books that has that special data from issue 1. And she decides at the end she's not going to get the teddy bear because she's just not respected by Dooku. And I thought that was really interesting about this comic because it shows somebody that is in league with the Separatists, but not exactly on the terms that Dooku wants her to be. And all he cares about is success on the mission. And he doesn't really care about her as a person. So she says, you know what? I don't care. I'm not ever going to really fully be under your care or your control, because I want some respect. So I love how this issue ended, how it gave us more layers to the character of Asajj Ventress in an all-ages comic book. So absolutely recommend this one. For the next one, this is an issue, a series that I don't know if we needed. I feel like there's a lot of Darth Vader issues, but this one actually struck a chord for me, guys. This one I actually really enjoyed more than the first one. This is Darth Vader Black, White, and Red. So this is a bigger comic book, right? You're going to pay a little bit more money for this one, but there are 3 different short stories. The first one is called Hard Shutdown Part 2. Jason Aaron wrote this with artwork by Leonardo Kirk, and this is the only ongoing story between the 4 different issues of this miniseries. In this latest one, we have this crazy guy that's trying to decommission Vader. He succeeded in studying Vader. His father worked on Vader's suit, so knows all the secrets from his father. And now he has basically wanted to get revenge on Vader for everything that, you know, him having done in the last whatever amount of years it has been. So he plans on literally deconstructing Vader by just getting a buzzsaw thing and just cutting him in pieces, kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And this is what this little story turns into, is an uber killing fest. And Black, White, and Red, this is basically Black, White, and Blood. Star Wars can't really do a lot of mature theme type of things, but this is as close as we have gotten, because Vader, even though his suit, his physical power in the suit is limited, being bolted on this table, the power of the Force is a strong ally, and he's able to use the power of the Force to literally just kill everyone in a certain proximity in that warehouse, using the Force as he's continued to be stripped down on his table. Is using the Force to cut people in half with these doors, everything else. It's just absolutely incredible seeing the power of Vader, and the artwork lends itself so well to this, all the red being, you know, blood probably. So this is the closest we've come to a rated R Star Wars story. So I really enjoyed this one. We have the next one called The Endless Moon, or The Endless Mercy, sorry. This is from David Papos with Alessandro Vitti. And this one is all about Vader having a mission to go to this ship. He has to basically take out this infestation of these creatures and find out this Kaminoan has basically done something with these creatures, bred these creatures. And the long and short of it is, Vader is getting stabbed, and he uses the Force, uses willpower to get this thing out and destroy this entire infestation by crashing this transport into a planet or into a moon, whatever. So this story was all right. It was just a lot of action. We've seen a lot of that from Vader stories. And the last one we have is Power. This is written by Victoria Yang with Marika Cresta, who has done work on Star Wars previously. So she is no stranger to the franchise. And in this one, we have a kid that is being bullied and just just looked down upon, and one day the Empire comes in and they start burning the village and everything else, and it's pretty horrifying seeing a lot of this imagery. But by the end of it, the kid sees the power of Vader walking by, his mother's crying and everything, but after all of the things that this kid has been through, being the bully and all that, he looks at Vader as a sense of power, and he actually looks up to Vader with his fists as he walks and he watches the village burn in fire. So this kid is going to have a very twisted mind as he grows up. But hey, the Vader himself has inspired him apparently to do some kind of joining of the Empire at some point. And last but certainly not least, this is the final issue of the High Republic for Phase 2. Of course, written by Cavan Scott with artwork by the great Ariel Enedito. This is Battle for the Force, Chapter 5, Lure of the Dark Side. And last we left off at a huge cliffhanger. Vildar Mac has taken up this Sith gauntlet while they are underneath a temple in Jeddah, trying to prevent Worth Plouth, who is known as the Herald of the Path of the Open Hand, from getting this staff of power that will basically let him control the Nameless, who are these force-sucking creatures that have killed many a Jedi at this point in the High Republic, which is at this point about 300 or about 400 BBY or something like that at this point. It's pretty far back there, 429 or something like that. It's a long way back. So anyway, this issue is all about the culmination. This is the finale, guys. This is our kind of climax and also a little bit of a falling action, a little bit to bring us back to speed on what the story does in a nutshell. And we get the big battle between Vildar Mac and the Herald of the Open Hand, who is using lightsabers, but he's not force sensitive. Obviously, he gets tapped into using the dark side. Vildar Mac taps into using the dark side by using the Sith relics. We know the Sith relics, like the Mask of Moment and all that, kind of sometimes possess different people that use them, and it's up to Tay Sarek, who used to be a Guardian of the Will, that kind of talk him off the ledge and get him to remove the gauntlet after he does the not the killing blow, but the strike to incapacitate the character of Worth Plouth, who is then brought into custody of the Republic. And then we see that they actually get away. Yana Rowe gets away, and the thing is, this really ties in directly with the Path of Vengeance, also written by Cavan Scott, the young adult novel that came out earlier this month, actually kind of gives us the falling action of this story itself, and they tell you exactly what happens in this book, in that book. So I already knew exactly everything that was going to happen. It's just the release order of things coming out. This book just, I guess, became later than it wanted to be. So all the big reveals for me were kind of spoiled already. By the end of this issue, Vildar Mac ends up becoming one of the representatives of the Convocation of the Force, as well as Tay Sarek does. Tay Sarek is not force sensitive, but the people believe they needed somebody that was more neutral on that party, that was, living on Jeddah. So we have all that finale coming to a nice end. And while I like the High Republic Phase 2 comics, and this is for everything, there's a couple memorable characters, but nothing as memorable as Phase 1 characters, like Avar Kriss or Belzetifar, Elzar Mann, or Stellan Gios. We don't have as memorable characters as those guys, or Geode, or Leox Gyasi. Those names I could just ramble off from here until the next hour. I can't do that with the Phase 2 comics, and it's because of characters like Vildar Mac that are just so one note. Even with the conclusion of this and him hugging Tay Sarek and just giving him a chance, I just don't feel like I connected with him. I felt like Maddie was a very annoying character. I know she's constructed to be that way, but still, I think by the end of this comic issue, I said, what did we really accomplish here? Yes, it was just to see the Battle of Jeddah in comic book form. We've heard so much about it from the audio drama, from the couple books that have come out, but for me, I just feel like Cavan Scott and Ariel Enedito, they were really on their A game with Phase 1. I absolutely loved the adventures they took us on. Were just awesome, dealing with the Dren gear, dealing with the Nile, Lorna D and all them. And then we get this issue, and I feel like we spun our wheels a lot in these 10 issues. And this almost feels like the halfway point. This almost feels like, okay, let's start the new arc. Oh, wait, there isn't no new arc. These guys are going to go off into the sunrise, and 150 years later, we're going to get the great disaster with the Nile and Markion Row. So it just kind of feels like it's a little incomplete for me. I just feel like I wanted a little bit more of a strong conclusion, but despite that, it was well written. It gave us a lot of world building for Jeddah that we never knew we needed probably after watching Rogue One. So we've seen a lot of cool stuff there. So for that, I think it's succeeded. But that's going to do it for this week's reviews. I do have a review for the manga comic, part of the High Republic, that came out this week, The Edge of Balance Precedent, focusing on the character of Arkoff, the Wookiee Jedi. So go ahead and check out that video. That's on the channel right now. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm getting so close to 2,000 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate it if you're still watching a video at this point. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Well, that's going to do for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.